Hello and welcome to the podcast of Impresiv English. Speak, impress, and inspire. In the podcast, we have been listening to speeches, inspiring speeches of people from Tamil medium background and who are now excelling or communicating well in English. In that aspect, we've got an interesting person today. Before meeting the person, the resource person of this day, the inspiring personality of this day, I would like to give you a few interesting aspects of English. How many of you know about pangram? I'm sure if you are a person who seeks about the fun facts, definitely you should be aware of this term pangram. A sentence that contains every word, every letter of a language. A sentence that contains every letter of a language is a pangram. One pangram in English is the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. When you check this, you can find all the letters of the English alphabet. And another interesting fact is when I got to know about the pangram in English, I really wanted to know about the pangram in Tamil, and I got it. This sentence has got all the உயிரெழுத்துக்கள் and மெய்யெழுத்துக்கள். I'm here to read it for you. Give me a moment, please. Let me take. Yes, here it is. ஓர் ஊர்தியில் ஏறி கீழே இறங்கி சூடான சுத்தமான நெய் உணவு ஆவினை எடுத்து திடீரென 500 கூடை குண்டூசியும் 7 ஔடத மின்னூல்களும் அனுப்பி ஞாபகமூட்டியது ஒரு தூதுக்குழு. Isn't it surprising? It has got all the letters, which means உயிரெழுத்துக்கள் and மெய்யெழுத்துக்கள் in Tamil. I was truly surprised. I guess you might have got surprised too. Now we are getting into the podcast, the main business of the day. The personality, the inspiring personality of today is Madam Prema. Before she could introduce herself, I know her personally since my childhood. She has always set herself as an inspirational personality before people, a very humble person, a very polite person. I have recently come across this quote: be humble, be polite, let your success make the noise. Madam Prema is one such personality. She was a topper in school, she was a topper in college, she was a medalist. She's got all the aspects. A lot of success stories are on the way. Let's wait for it. Madam Prema, welcome to the podcast of Impresiv English.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. You have given such a wonderful introduction about me. Thank you.
That's true. Could you please tell us about yourself?
Okay. Myself, Prema. I'm from Nagarkoil, which is in Kanyakumari district. And right now I'm working as a postal assistant in postal department in Nagarkoil head post office. I completed my schoolings in Nagarkoil and I completed my college degree in Tirunelveli Government Engineering College. I was a B Civil Engineering medalist, and before 10 years, I was working as a software engineer in Wipro. 2 years I worked there, and after that I got this job and I shifted here. My father was a tailor. My mother name is Saroja. She's a homemaker. I have one son, very intelligent son. His name is Arun Sriram, and he's studying 5th standard now. So this is a short note of myself.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Started from your school, about your parents, even about your son. Glad to know about it. Could you please tell me what was English to you during your school days?
From my childhood till date also, English is always I'm being fascinated by English. According to me, English is like energy. I used to imagine the people, you also, those people who are speaking in English, I consider themselves as a very powerful people. English is always giving energy and confidence to us. If you ask me what were my favorite subject in my school days, English for second paper and Tamil second paper were my favorite subjects because I was very fond of grammar, verb things, everything. While other students were very curiously looking to see their marks in other subjects like maths, physics, chemistry, I used to be very curious to see my marks in grammar parts. So according to me, English is always a magic within it. It's giving more attraction to others if we speak in English.
Super, well said. From your view, you're fascinated by English, the language, grammar. I really wonder. There are a lot of people who are afraid of grammar. What created that interest towards grammar? The word ilakkanam. How did you get interested towards it?
That was because of my teachers. My Tamil teacher name is Kokila, and my favorite English teacher name is Isaki Amar. So they taught me in Tamil as well as English grammars in very interesting manner. So I was attracted by the way they taught me in English. So that was the reason.
Fantastic. This is the power of a teacher.
Yes,
And I
of
also
course.
trust this from my students. If I like the teacher, I like the subject. If I don't like the teacher, definitely I don't like the subject. It's once
Yes.
the teacher has the power to change anybody, any subject. That's vividly seen here from you. Would like to know, did you have any such moment where that told you the value of English, where you realized the need of English in the future?
Yes, I had because as I said earlier, I'm very fond of English grammar. So I had little bit of head weight that I was very good in written English. I knew very well about grammar things. So, but once I stepped into my college life, that time only I realized that the amount of knowledge what I had in English was not fair enough because still I remember the days I bought my first semester subject books from my college store and I rushed to my hostel and I was very eagerly opened the books and all of a sudden I started to cry because what I saw was everything was in English. I whatever the things I studied in my school days in physics, chemistry, in Tamil, all those terms were in English. So that was a very pathetic situation for me at that time. But with the knowledge of I had in written English, I managed my subjects. I managed my all the semesters to score good marks. But on part of coming into that conversation English, I realized very much discouraged because I was concentrated for the past 12 years. I was only concentrated in the written English on part of the examination only. So the part I missed was conversation English. So that
Okay,
was my realization during my college days.
fine. So you were strong in English even during your childhood, during your early school days. Though you were in Tamil medium, you were strong in English, especially grammar. And that helped you to elevate in your college days, get good marks in your college. And it's surprising again. You are a medalist, a Tamil
Yes,
medium student who struggled in the beginning to find the terms in the books, later became a medalist. How did it
yes.
happen? The efforts that you put in, could you please explain the different? It's quite easy to say, I won a medal, I'm the medalist, but only you know the hardships you came across and the different inputs that you put in, different types of hard works, the methods that you put in. Could you please share about it?
Yes, sure. Um, the first thing is my grammar part, my strong thing in grammar part. And the next part is combined study during my college days. Many of my friends were from English medium only, but they felt had lot of difficulty to understand our subject theories, patterns, problems, formulas, everything they had the difficulty to understand. But I was very studious in my college days at college. So whatever the things, even though I could understand or not by the way taught by my lecturers, I used to take all the things in my notes. So once I returned to my hostel room, I turned every pages and I referred every books and it helped me a lot to understand the things. And after that, at mid of the night, three or four of my friends gathered in front of me and I became a lecturer to them and I started to take a class to them. So that was the only reason for me to cope up with the English language in my subjects. I think that effort brought me, made me as a medalist.
Sure. Well, the best way to learn is to teach. When we teach something, the content becomes very strong. We'll be able to be more familiarized with the content. So you have used that. Your friends have helped you, or your teamwork or group learning has helped you to score well and get that content incorporated in you well. Good to know about it. Before getting into the next part of the questions, which is all about criticisms that Madam Prema faced, we also have some questions for the audience. Do you know about the most commonly used words, the most commonly used adjective? If you know, you can think about it or you can comment. The most commonly used noun, commonly mispronounced word. I'll be revealing the answer for all these three towards the end of the session. Stay tuned. Now, coming back to Madam Prema, have you received criticisms for not speaking English well or for your strugglings in English?
Yes, of course, I had received criticisms. During my final year, we all knew that during our final year, many companies will come to recruit us for their companies. So during this campus interview time, my seniors had arranged some mock interview. So in those interviews, they had asked many questions from the subjects and asked me to speak in English, to give the answer in English. So that time I felt lot of difficulties. Even though I knew the answer for those questions, I felt lot of difficulties to speak, to explain the answer in English. So that was so embarrassed moment for me because those some students were there sitting behind me. They were taught by me. They understood the things through my combined study, but they were able to explain the things very well. I was not able to do that at that time. So that time my seniors and some of my friends also criticized me that because of the lack of conversation English I had at that time.
So pity, right? When we find we might have taught them, they score well, they present well, whereas when we aren't able to do well, truly embarrassing. We'll not be able to accept it. What would you like to tell to the people from Tamil medium? I, as a language trainer, face a lot of such questions. Whenever a Tamil medium student, which means a person of Tamil medium background, comes to me, they say this as the first reason. I'm from a Tamil medium background, and so I'm not able to speak well. I've learned everything in Tamil. Even the college works in Tamil. Say the questions might be in English, but the answers in Tamil. In different universities, they have allowed. I'm not sure how it is available now, but during our college days, the students were allowed to write exams in Tamil even in college. What would you like to tell to the people from Tamil medium? Can they take this as an excuse, and how to overcome it?
For this question also, I would like to start my answer from my college days. As I said earlier, my first interview was with TCS. So that time I had lot of difficulties to speak in English and I lost that. I failed in that interview and almost 95% of my friends got selected and they celebrated that moment also. So that time I was so sad and I was starting to have a doubt about my future. But my second interview that had 3 months gap. So in between that 3 months gap, I chose some of my genuine friends who were from the English class, English medium. So I started to have a conversation with them in English. And I asked them to conduct a mock interview. I had a practice of introducing myself in English and some of my favorite subjects. I picked some questions and asked themselves to ask me questions from that subject in English. So I had a repeated practice for the for 3 months gap. I got some reasonable amount of confidence. So with that confidence, I attended my second interview in Wipro and I got selected. I wish to specify that I did not perform very well, but I was able to manage with that 3 months practice. So that time only I realized that practice is the only key. So I would like to say to my Tamil people, people who are from Tamil medium, practice is the only key to get anything in our hand. But at the same
Yep.
time, we should have a good mentor or good teacher, good guru with us. So having a good guru with us to correct our flaws or mistakes and having a consistent practice and self-analyzing definitely will lift us to the places wherever we wish.
Fantastic. Rightly said, rightly said. There are people who would say practice can help us. Definitely, practice helps us. At the same time, sometimes we lack that consistency. We'll be able to do the practice for a week, a month, and after that, we get exhausted, bored, and we don't do it. We give up. At that time, if we have a person to tell us you are there in the track, come on, give up, don't give up, you can do it. When somebody is there to assist us, guide us, motivate us, definitely we will be able to do it. But you are truly determined, I would say. When you are not able to crack the interview of TCS with the help of your friends, you were able to do it. You have asked them to conduct mock interview session, question session, interrogative sessions, and all. There was truly determined. It shows that you were completely having the willpower to get the job. You were in the right track to achieve it. Well done. Congratulations for all your work. And my dear audience, as Madam Prema said, practice is the key to achieve anything. Let's do it. Before we wind up, here are the answers for the questions that I asked. The most commonly used adjective is good. Good. We usually recognize somebody with the word good. The most commonly used noun is time. What's a time? It's getting late. It's time for something. We use the word time frequently. So it's time. And the interesting part is this: the most commonly mispronounced word, the fate of this word, pronunciation. The most commonly mispronounced word is pronunciation. There are people who pronounce it as pronunciation. It's pronunciation. So the commonly mispronounced word, most frequently mispronounced, is pronunciation. Thank you so much, Madam Prema, for joining us today. You are an inspiration, definitely. I'm sure your inputs will help people. Your the paths that you have come across will be helpful for people who watch. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for your valuable time, knowledge, and experience shared with us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I feel very grateful. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for staying with us. I believe to present you some more inspirational sessions with people from Tamil medium background. Language cannot be a barrier. Once it was said, English was just a language. English is just a language. English will be just a language always. For people who say English is hard, English is a language that can help us to climb in the ladder of success, especially in the career. So don't give up. You can learn English. Learning English is possible by adding hard work, dedication, consistency, practice. Do it. Ninglum styla araha super English peslam. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.